2 Chronicles chapter 4 verse 1. Solomon also made a bronze altar 30 feet long, 30 feet wide, and 15 feet high. Verse 2. Then he cast a great round basin 15 feet across from rim to rim, called the sea. It was 71 by 2 feet deep and about 45 feet in circumference. Verse 3. It was encircled just below its rim by 2 rows of figures that resembles oxen. There were about 6 oxen per foot all the way around, and they were cast as part of the basin. Verse 4. The sea was placed on a base of 12 bronze oxen, all facing outward. 3 faced north, 3 faced west, 3 faced south, and 3 faced east. And the sea rested on them. Verse 5. The walls of the sea were about 3 inches thick, and its rim flat out like cap and resembled a water lily blossom. It could hold about 16,500 gallons of water. Verse 6. He also made 10 smaller basins for washing the utensils for the burnt offerings. He set 5 on the south side and 5 on the north, but the priests washed themselves in the sea. Verse 7. He then cast 10 gold lampstands according to the specification that had been given, and he put them in the temple. 5 were placed against the south wall, and 5 were placed against the north wall. Verse 8. He also built 10 tables and placed them in the temple, 5 along the south wall and 5 along the north wall. Then he molded 100 gold basins. Verse 9. He then built a courtyard for the priest, and also the large outer courtyard. He made doors for the courtyard entrance and overlaid them with bronze. Verse 10. The great bronze basin called the sea was placed near the southeast corner of the temple. Verse 11. Huram-Abi also made the necessary wash basins, shovels, and bowls. So at last, Huram-Abi completed everything King Solomon had assigned to him to make for the temple of God. Verse 12. The 2 pillars, the 2 bowl-shaped capital on top of the pillars, the 2 networks of interwoven chains that decorated the capitals. Verse 13. The 400 pomegranates that hung from the chains on the capital, 2 rows of pomegranates for each of the chain networks that decorated the capital on top of the pillars. Verse 14. The water cart holding the basins. Verse 15. The sea and the 12 oxen under it. Verse 16. The ash bucket, the shovels, the meat hooks, and all the related articles. Huram-Abi made all these things of burnished bronze for the temple of the Lord, just as King Solomon had directed. Verse 17. The king had them cast in clay molds in the Jordan Valley between Sukkot and Zarethan. Verse 18. Solomon used such great quantities of bronze that its weight could not be determined. Verse 19. Solomon also made all the furnishing for the temple of God, the gold altar, the tables for the bread of the presence. Verse 20. The lampstands and their lamps of solid gold to burn in front of the most holy place as prescribed. Verse 21. The flower decorations, lamps, and thongs, all of the purest gold. Verse 22. The lamp snuffers, bowls, ladles, and incense burners, all of solid gold. The door for the entrance of the most holy place, and the main room of the temple, overlaid with gold. Amen.